Take a look at this collision. On one side, you have swift, airy, rapid-fire energy. On the other, deep, fluid, heavy emotion. When Gemini and Pisces meet, it creates one of the most hypnotic and ultimately confusing pairings in the entire zodiac. At first contact, the chemistry is electric. Gemini brings a razor-sharp wit and endless curiosity, which immediately draws in Pisces, who counters the dreamy, magnetic intuition. During the honeymoon phase, this looks like a flawless partnership. Gemini supplies the social excitement and keeps the pace fast, while Pisces anchors the couple with a deep, creative, and spiritual bond. But that intense early attraction acts as a smokescreen. Beneath the surface of the relationship lies a stark reality. These two signs process the world through completely incompatible cognitive lenses. As the months pass and the initial spark settles, the dynamic abruptly shifts. Gemini starts to look at Pisces and see someone who is overly sensitive, wildly unpredictable, and seemingly operating without any logic. At the exact same time, Pisces starts to look at Gemini and see a partner who is cold, highly dismissive, and incapable of true emotional depth. How does a couple with such massive creative and social potential suddenly end up feeling like they are speaking to brick walls? The answer isn't that they need to change their personalities. To survive, Gemini and Pisces have to realize they are broadcasting on entirely different cognitive frequencies, and they have to learn how to translate. In astrology, a sign's ruling planet and element function exactly like a computer's operating system. It dictates how they send and receive data. This diagram illustrates the root of the issue. On the left, we have Gemini's source code. Governed by Mercury and classified as an air sign, Gemini is intensely open, highly verbal, and strictly data-driven. When a Gemini encounters a feeling or a problem, their mind rapidly rationalizes it, funneling it down into a clear, spoken, intellectual concept. Now look at the right side. This is Pisces. Ruled by Jupiter and classified as a water sign, their system is built on empathy, emotional depth, and spiritual connection. Notice what happens when they interact. Pisces prioritizes unseen emotional undercurrents and intuitive processing over explicitly spoken words. The sharp logical outputs of Gemini pass right through the fluid waves of Pisces. Because one partner relies on words to solve problems, and the other relies on feelings to connect, standard conversations between them will fail. They need a conscious translation protocol. Let's see how this misalignment plays out in a real-world scenario. Imagine a standard disagreement over a weekend plan. Gemini's instinctual reaction to friction is to fix it instantly. They start firing off rapid, spontaneous, and logical workarounds to adjust the schedule. Pisces reacts entirely differently. Before discussing a schedule, they feel a sudden need for their partner to acknowledge their stress, requiring quiet time to process the hurt intuitively. Here is the collision. Gemini's rapid-fire rationalizing feels incredibly dismissive to Pisces. To protect themselves, Pisces shuts down and retreats. This sudden, silent withdrawal deeply frustrates Gemini. They interpret Pisces' silence as a stubborn roadblock to resolving the conflict. During a fight, the harder Gemini tries to logically fix the problem, the more Pisces feels emotionally abandoned. The result is a total system failure. Fixing this crash means stepping away from natural instincts and adopting rigid, logical frameworks to translate intentions. The primary behavioral patch for Gemini is a technique called the validation pause. In this flowchart, there is a strict rule. Before Gemini offers a logical solution, they must hit a mandatory date, explicitly stating they validate Pisces' feelings. Clearing this gate establishes the baseline emotional security Pisces requires to engage with a proposed solution. By treating empathy as a mandatory technical requirement rather than an abstract feeling, Gemini secures Pisces' willingness to participate in the conversation. On the other side, the patch for Pisces is a protocol called transparent directness. Pisces operates with an expectation that a loving partner should naturally be able to read their emotional undercurrents. With an air sign, this is a mathematical impossibility. Pass the communication through a filter. Pisces must stop relying on intuition and vocalize needs as concrete data points, saying, "I feel X, I need Y." This seamlessly integrates. Clear parameters feed Gemini's intellect with actionable information they can actually process. Standardizing these emotional requests means Gemini never has to guess, which eliminates the unpredictability that causes them to withdraw. When both partners actively run these translation protocols, the dynamic shifts from volatile to deeply harmonious. Gemini brings a sense of lightness and logic that grounds Pisces in reality. In return, Pisces acts as a guide, helping Gemini tap into an emotional depth they could never access on their own. For these two, lasting compatibility results from mastering the translation between pure intellect and deep emotion. It is through this effort that they build an unstoppable bond. To decode more relationship matches and explore your own birth chart, visit zodiacreads.com.